Today's episode was hand-picked by the legendary channel members. Thank you so much. Well, hi, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Minecraft Guide. By the end of today's episode, we'll have a clean XP machine and even a nice rotten flesh cooker, too. Let's go. Camel Bamel, Camel Schmamel. So the name of the camel friend right here is still top secret. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time. Next episode, it will be decided. Attention, attention, a formal announcement with peace and love and so much tenderness. All camel names submitted here will be fully and wholly ignored. Submit all names in the last episode. Thank you. Today, the goal of the episode is to level the world up with a brand new wonderful farm. Last episode, we swung over to the nether for this block right here. This is the baby that's gonna basically enable every terrible thing that we're gonna do today. Additional materials that we're gonna wanna have on hand to build this farm is gonna be a whole lot of extra wood. We're gonna need signs and fences and things. We will also need one more beautiful stone cooker, which means cutter. All of that means that it's back over to the cobblestone mines for me, or it might just be maybe over to here. I took this and listen, nobody saw me. Nobody saw me. I'm not caught. It's fine. I'll put it back later. It's mine anyways. Kelp. We're gonna need kelp for this farm, and small problem. I definitely picked up kelp, but I only have 8 pieces of kelp right now. We're gonna build this farm. I think it's gonna end up being pretty close to this thing. When I found a spawner, it couldn't have been too far. We'll test our luck a little bit. Hopefully it'll be close enough that this kelp that I'm gonna drop at the bottom of the river will be ready to harvest by the time I swing back over here. After all, we're right by world spawn, and I'm pretty sure this will all stay loaded in, even after I leave. I feel kind of bad though. I just jumped right into things today. No warm question about how you're doing or anything like that, and that's kind of a terrible thing or a friend to do. So how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Are you enjoying the series? What should I build next? What is your favorite? What's your favorite color? Anyways, the rest of the supplies that we're gonna need here, I actually think I basically have it. We're gonna need wood, we're gonna need soul sand, we're gonna need stone cutter for blocks, food, pickaxe, iron, water. Now, the very final thing that we're gonna need to have on hand if we plan on building any kind of spawner farm, zombie, skeleton, spider, whatever it is, it's of course going to be a spawner. Now, finding a spawner, there are no specific tips that I have for you other than go down into the caves and go deep. Generally speaking, nowadays, in a post 1.18 world, more dungeons and spawners, they actually generate deeper, like in the deep slide range. Back in the diamond episode, we were actually fortunate enough to be able to find a spawner, and I wrote the coordinates down in my Minecraft guide journal. So I got this journal where I write different tips and tricks in, episode ideas, and kind of episode roadmaps in. Inside of that diamond roadmap, I see some numbers. I see 53, I see -33, and then I see -13. Actually, it was 57. Not that it matters that much. I can't read and talk. 57 and -13. Those are the numbers we're looking for right now. And look at this. 57. -13, right over this way. This thing is going to literally be perfect. I'm in love with this seed. It's amazing. Not only do we got all these biomes right at spawn, but right below this area, right over here in the forest, should be a spawner. Now we got options. We can start digging straight down and get all the way down to the bottom of the world nice and quickly. However, that could be really, really bad. The other option that we're gonna have here to get all the way back down to the spawner is maybe set up some kind of small staircase or something. And speaking of staircase, that's the much smarter exact move that we're gonna make next. We're gonna pick a spot relatively close to where our spawner is gonna be, over here, and start setting up a staircase. This staircase is potentially gonna be really, really long, but the nice thing about doing all of this is, while I'm digging the staircase, I might be able to find a little bit of extra coal, great for torches. I might be able to find a little bit of extra copper, great for spyglasses and coppery things. I might be able to find a little bit of extra granite, cobblestone as well, both wonderful building blocks. And, hey, hold up. One final tip that I have for you before you make a staircase down to the bottom of your world is maybe consider dropping a couple torches up on the surface near the entrance to your staircase. It would be very unfortunate if you dig a staircase down to the surface, gotta come back up because you forgot something, and then there's a creeper right there. Anyways, by building this big staircase down to -33, I might find caves, I might find blocks, I might find ores, a lot of things, but I also might find... What is that? Is that a riddle block? What? Oh my gosh, no way, that is legit a riddle block. You know how it goes. We find a riddle block, that means we have to answer the riddle to be able to continue the episode. If we can't get it right, it all ends here. Alright, so guys, I found a riddle. It's a Minecraft riddle. I want you to do your best and answer the riddle. Solve it down in the comments below here. Here's the riddle. Steve has nothing but a stone axe, 8 wooden planks, and 4 sticks in his inventory. What is the other item that Steve has in his inventory? Oh, yeah, that's right. There is one more item inside of the inventory, not just the axe, the planks, and everything that I just told you a second ago. Right now, I want you to try your best. Solve the riddle down in the comments below. While you're headed down there, firmly tap the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Hi, hey. And well, best of luck to you. And so, staircase, just a short bit of digging later. And by short, I actually kind of mean a lot. Like, this was a lot of digging. Anyways, just a little bit of digging later, and I should be right near the spawner. Spawner, oh, yeah, spawner, you beautiful baby. I missed you. It's been so long. I think if I remember correctly, yes, if I remember correctly, I left all of this stuff over here. So once you either made it back to the spawner that you found a couple episodes ago, or find yourself a brand new fresh zombie spawner, you're basically good to go. It is a very, very good and smart idea to set up a temporary working area when working on this farm. I'm running back and forth right now because I'm an indecisive guy. I can't decide where I want to set it up. Somebody help, please. Yeah, what the heck? We'll set it up right here for now. Now, in this temporary work area, I highly recommend putting 3 things down. You put a crafting table down, you put a stone cutter down, and you place a chest down. If you had to make your way back down to the spawner kind of like I did, like you made a big staircase, you're probably going to be full. Like you got blocks all over the place. It's always a great idea before working on any build to clear out the inventory a little bit so you can see what blocks you have in your inventory and what you're working with here. Now, the second thing you need to do as soon as you find a spawner, set up a working area, is light it up. You want to make sure you got torches all over the spawner room, but also the caves nearby. If a creeper were to have spawned, like right over there, well, let's just say this whole operation will be kaput. As soon as the spawner is gone, it's gone. There's no way to get it back. You need to protect this thing with your life. We also, to assure this thing continues to run, need to put a slab on top of the spawner. Spawners are a little bit, they're kind of complex. Spawners are both one of the oldest things in Minecraft, but also one of the best things in Minecraft. If you know how to work with these things, they can provide you with tons of experience and drops. Now, for today's episode, we're talking about zombie spawners, so we'll specifically talk about that a little bit more. A zombie spawner has a spawning radius of about 4 blocks out in each direction from it. Going up and down, it's going to be a little bit smaller. So long as we clear out 2 blocks above and below this thing, we'll be more than good to go. Now, a spawner spawning radius is basically the area in which the spawner will be able to drop mobs into the world. Our spawning radius for the spawner is going to be centered around the spawner itself. Our zombie spawner spawn radius is basically going to be the area inside of these stone block markers. By removing any blocks that would be sitting inside of this box, say stone or cobblestone, we'll open up more space for the zombies to spawn. So after we clear out room around the spawner for the spawner to actually spawn, it'll try and spawn mobs. But there are more conditions. Condition number 1 is players. Take a look at the spawner. We're really far away from it. There's no particles. As soon as we move within 16 blocks of this thing, though, the particles begin. And if you actually look really closely, like taking a spyglass, we might be able to see it. Yeah, you see the zombie spinning in a circle? That means the spawner is active. When the spawner is active, it can actually spawn mobs. The only reason zombies aren't dropping in here is because it's way too bright. Light, ooh, another kind of complex mechanic, but long story short today, as long as we can get the light level everywhere within the spawning box of this spawner, so 4 blocks out in every direction, as long as we can get the light level on every single one of those blocks, air block, solid block, or not, as long as we can raise that light level up to 12 everywhere around this spawner, then no mobs will be able to spawn. Now, a great way to make sure that happens is to grab torches and place a torch on every single side of the spawner, and then if you have walls that are farther away, maybe place some torches on the walls too. Oh yeah, and a mob spawner, unlike other mob spawning mechanics, this thing can basically just drop mobs in the air. It doesn't need to have like a solid block. As long as I had all other conditions met, this spawner would technically be able to spawn a zombie right there, midair. Alright, and so, for our quick basic spawner rundown today, I think that's gonna just about cut it. Other spawners, like for example a blaze spawner, they're gonna have different spawning mechanics. We'll be talking a whole lot more about these things in this series. A spawner farm. We found a spawner, we lit it up, we put a slab on top of this thing. And now it's time to dig a room out. From the spawner, in every single flat direction, we need to go 4 blocks out and then make our wall. Technically speaking, for the ceiling, it only needs to be 2 blocks above the spawner, but seeing as my ceiling is already 3 blocks, I mean, why fill it in when I could dig it out? Early game, more blocks? Ooh, chef's kiss. Depending on how your spawner spawned in, you might have to come back in and fill blocks in around the outside of the spawner. For example, over here, we're open to the caves, and to actually make this farm work, we're going to want to cut it off from the caves. But hey, more on that in a minute. 3, 2, 1, Less mine. You call me the craziest man in the world. You call me the man focused on all the wrong things. You call me whatever you want to call me. It doesn't matter. They're all just names. So I dug my room out right here. I think it looks really, really nice, but I think I might also maybe want to make a window into this room so I can like see what's happening. I think that would be really, really cool. To make that window thing look even better and like the inside of the room, everything like that, I'm going to care about what this room actually looks like. Instead of just like patching the wall up right here, cutting it off from the cave with plain old cobblestone, kind of lame, what I think I'm gonna do is use a furnace over here, smelt up some of this beautiful deep slate block, and then after it's done being smelted up, I take the beautiful deep slate block and move it over to the wall and basically put it back. This is gonna make sure the room looks really, really nice, but that's totally unimportant. Next up, unfortunately, terribly, it's a little bit more digging for us. We'll start over here by the spawner. We're gonna go 1 block right there, then we're gonna go 2 block right there, 3 block, and then 4 block. The faster we can move our zombies away from this mob spawner, the better. You see, this mob spawner will attempt to spawn mobs about every half minute or so, sometimes more, sometimes less. If there are mobs still idling around near the spawner, it sometimes will fail to spawn even more mobs. For example, let's say I was a zombie, it spawned me, and then I just stood here and stood here and stood here, didn't do anything, then it tried to spawn more mobs. Well, because I'm a zombie and I'm in the spawning box, it can't spawn more zombies. To assure that there are no mobs near the spawner, and also go ahead and give myself a lot of extra building blocks, I go ahead and dig this thing 4 blocks below the spawner. Everywhere. So, back to digging for me. You know, now that I think about it, it's kind of funny. We jumped into this project today, started setting up a spawner, talked about mechanics and everything like that, but I never even really talked about why you would maybe want to do this, and more specifically, why I'm doing this here in our world today. There are a couple different reasons you would maybe want to set up a spawner farm inside of your world. Reason number 1, experience. With a continuous flow of experience, you'll be able to enchant and, you know, just have levels easily. Maybe mend your tools up. Of course, with the spawner farm, it's also all about the drops. Every single type of spawner farm, skeleton, zombie, spider, blaze, whatever you want to call it, they all have their different uses, the drops. For us today, the reason we're building this spawner farm in our world here together is really a combination of both of those things. I want to have easy experience so we can talk about enchanting and level up the tools, but I also like the idea of rotten flesh. Later on, when we start talking a little bit more about villagers and things like that, having a good supply of rotten flesh can come in handy big time. A tiny bit of digging later, and take a look at this, my friends. This right here is another beautiful reason you should build a spawner farm. From digging out all this stuff, so many blocks. We're set when it comes to building with deep slate for a minute. Now my spawner room over here is looking pretty nice. It's a nice solid square of deep slate. Polished, smooth, and natural deep slate all over the place. Next up, we need to pick a side of this room to move the mobs over to. Hey, by the way, I put a slab on the bottom of this thing just for aesthetics, baby. I want to look good. Anyways, we gotta pick a side of the room that we want to move the mobs over to. Now thinking about where the base is, I'm pretty sure up on the surface, the base is like straight off that way. With that in mind, when I set up like a grinding room, I would like the grinding room to be a little bit closer to like the rest of the base. You know, spawn, everything like that. So what I think I want to do is move my mobs maybe over to that corner over there. With that in mind, go over here to the opposite corner that you want to move them to and drop water. If your measurements are correct, the water should flow all the way over to one side like that, but not touch the other corner. This right here is where we're going to dig down and make a new trench. This trench is going to be 1 block deeper, and it's going to go all the way across the room from one corner over to the target corner, which is going to be over here. Now we'll go ahead and pick this water up and check this out. Water, it still flows 8 blocks. If I put it in that corner, it goes from that corner all the way to here. Lads, laddies, everybody, it's time for what I would like to call a little bit of water sorcery here. We're going to need fences and signs. Fences, signs, and 1 block of soul sand. With our water flowing all the way over here, we see this block. It doesn't reach all the way right there. This is where the start of our elevator trap begins. You see, in Minecraft, fall damage, it's a thing. Fall damage is also a thing for mobs like zombies, skeletons, creepers, literally anything that falls to take a little bit of damage. If we could have the mob spawn from a spawner and be funneled over into some kind of elevator, then we raise them up like really, really high and drop them all the way back down. They'll be brought down to lower health. Then they're easier to take out. If we raise a zombie up about 21 or so blocks, 20, and then drop it, it'll be brought down to like 1 or 2 hits, just like that. In your spawner room, you got a trench going all the way along one side. you're going to put water in the back corner. The other corner is going to be an elevator. On that elevator corner, start by digging down 1 block. Jump down in here. Maybe place a torch so everybody watching can see, and then dig into the wall just like this. We're going to go ahead and dig down right there and place a fence, or technically you could put a wall. Then on the 3 blocks above that, we're going to open it up. On the block right behind that one, even with this trench, we're going to put a soul sand block. The soul sand is going to mark where the elevator is. The elevator is going to go straight up, like 20 or whatever blocks. We've got a trench right here. We drop down 1 block. Then we have a fence down there. Then we got soul sand. Then we got a solid block right there, and we open that block up. By opening that block up, the water's going to actually suck everything into the elevator. Now it's sign time. We don't need a sign on that block. We need a sign on that block. We need a sign on that block. Then we're going to go ahead and open this one up so the elevator is nice and functional, and put 1 more sign right there. Finally, to get all of this ready to actually run, we're going to jump back up and dig that block out. And when we do that, if we put water right over here in this corner, it's going to flow, bump down, and flow right over there. If I was a zombie, I would move into this trench, aimlessly wander over here, and then bump up because of the fence right there. I get pulled up into the elevator, sent all the way to the top, and then I drop and fall. And then I drop and fall. Now, next up, we're going to need to set up some kind of grinding room. A room where we're going to sand and take the zombies out. In a second, we'll talk all about setting up the elevator, but first we want to figure out where we're going to drop the zombies to. Wherever we're going to end up dropping the zombies to needs to be in line with the elevator to make sure it works. You got to think about what you want to do for the design, but if you don't care about the design, what I recommend doing is from the back of your elevator, go 3, maybe 2 blocks. For me today, with the proper configurations configured out and set up, I think what I want to do is end up dropping my mobs on this block. It's going to be 44, -37, -17. The most important coordinate to us right now, though, is going to be that middle Y coordinate. Unfortunately, I hate to do it too, but it's time for math. Whatever that Y coordinate is, or that block that you're going to end up dropping your mobs onto, you need to add 22 to it. My number is -37. I go ahead and add 22 to it. Quick math, it's -15. That -15 number for us today is very important. It might be different for you, but for me, I need to set the top of my dropper up at -15. Next up, what I'm going to do is get the exact coordinates of this soul sand block. 50, -38, and -17. I'm going to go ahead and send those in chat so I don't lose them. I'm going to move back over to my block right here, and I'm going to start digging up. I already started digging up a little bit. I'm just going to basically continue the process. Now, I'm sorry, it's going to get really, really dark, but all I'm doing is digging straight up, all the way to -15. Place a couple more blocks into -15. Oh, -15. Now, using my innate willpower and sense of direction, I remember that this is the way to 53. Oh, no way, it actually is. I'm genius. 50 is the way to 50. Using the coordinates that we sent in chat, we're going to work our way back over to wherever that soul sand block once was. Once we make it all the way over to that soul sand block, I'm going to realize that I forgot a sign. I need a sign or a fence gate. 2 things to do up here. While you're up here, place a sign above wherever your dropper is going to be. You could have light up here, you couldn't. It doesn't matter. We're going to grab a bucket of water and dump it at the top of the other end of this top dropper here. This needs to be right above where the soul sand is eventually going to sit. Then we're going to swim all the way over here and start digging down. It could be a little bit difficult, potentially dangerous if you're not careful. Don't drown. Another way to do it here, if you're not really a fan of moving around in water and potentially drowning yourself, no big deal. Just go back over to your room and go on top of the soul sand and dig straight up. Sooner or later, somehow, your water should end up dropping all the way down exactly on top of your soul sand. We gotta go, we can't drown. No, 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 no. Oh, yeah, it really wasn't that far. No big deal. All right, now check this out. We put water in this back corner. It's going to flow all the way over to the elevator. Again, assuming I'm a zombie, I move over. And this time, because of the currents we set up, we're pulled right into the elevator. But I don't go anywhere. Kelp, wonderful kelp, please do not let me down. We're gonna need kelp for this step. It's gonna make it a whole lot easier. If you don't have kelp, you could use water buckets after water bucket, but oh, I got kelp. Oh, it's wonderful. Forget the buckets. For this part of the project, we're gonna need a little bit of kelp, like probably 20 something, but depending on how your elevator is set up, if you're doing something a little bit different with it, you might need a little bit more, or less, I guess. Back down here at the spawner room, it might be a good idea to pull that water out or block it off for now. With kelp, we're gonna go over and plant one on the soul sand block. Once we plant one kelp on the soul sand block, if we move into here, we'll notice once we pull it out that we'll bump up a little bit. That's gonna basically activate the elevator. Now, if I had access to a bunch of extra bone meal, I could stand at the bottom and just bone meal the kelp all the way up to the top. But unfortunately, I don't. So for now, what I'm going to do is back inside of this room, I'm going to take these 2 blocks out where the dropper is and put water right there. That way, I'll be able to ride the elevator up to the top and drop down safely without anything bad ever happening. Back over inside of the spawner room with our kelp right here, we're going to jump into the elevator and just spam kelp. And we're going to swim all the way up to the top, planting kelp the whole way. By planting kelp, we're creating proper water sources and not just flowing water. Long story short, for a bubble column to properly activate, we need proper water sources and not flowing water blocks. Back over down here, we'll go ahead and pull that out and put those back. We have some extra blocks right here. Now, before I do anything else with this farm, let's talk a little bit about the room that we're going to set up. Over here, near where you're going to end up dropping your mobs, is a great idea to set up some kind of cozy room or non-cozy factory place or whatever, but you set up a room to actually enjoy your spawner and use it in. Inside of this room, there are so many different things that are a great idea to have. I mean, we're talking a bed, we're talking a grindstone, we're talking furnace, crafting table, maybe enchantment setup, all that cool, wonderful stuff. For today's episode, all that I'm really going to do here is get the bare bones in. All I'm going to do here is dig out a room to exist in. And maybe we'll slap a little bit of details on it, but all I want is a room. Now, while I tackle our final bit of digging for today's episode, I'd like to take a look real quick at the comment of the day. Today's comment of the day is beautifully generous when it comes to my storage rooms. Thank you, you're way too kind though. I think they're okay. But storage space, yes, 100%. We're gonna need a storage room really soon. So earlier on, I said something funny about taking on a dragon by episode 20, or 25. I might be reconsidering that. I don't know. Whew, wow, a lot of building later that took a whole lot of time, and I did it. I finally got a brand new room down here dug out. It's pretty big too. Now, like I mentioned a little bit earlier on, today we're gonna leave this room pretty bare bones. I do have a pretty good vision as to what I want to do with this room though, and it includes something very magical. Maybe you'll be able to guess what that is, but anyways, look at this. From digging out this room, I got so much deep slate. It's beautiful. I'm gonna be able to use this stuff for so many builds. I also went ahead and took some time to move all of my setup that was previously up there inside of the cave down into this proper room. Now, this ladder is reaching up to over here that then reaches over to the staircase. Eventually, when we fully finish up the details of that room, I'm gonna have a clean way in and out. But for now, this will be the way. Spawner, where were we? Back over here inside of the room, the kelp is still sitting on the soul sand. If I walk over here and punch the bottom one, the bubble column will activate. All of the items should be rocketed up to the top. We can throw something in and test it. Back over in the proper room, give it a second, and everything, if it's set up perfectly, should end up falling down to me. We just gotta give it a little bit of time. There are like 2 things left to do to actually activate this whole spawner. Thing number 1, water. We're gonna need solid water currents all the way along the back wall of this room. Using water buckets, we'll go ahead and dump a ton of water in. Once you get the water in, other than that 1 block right there, it should flow all the way over to the front. Over in this back corner, if it's not here yet, place a water source and dig this out and let the water flow to the front of this thing. Now, you gotta be careful. It's almost go time. Carefully, quickly, and smoothly, we're gonna move around this room and punch out every single torch. You wanna be quick, you wanna be fast, you wanna be clean with this one. As soon as it starts to get dark in here, zombies may begin to spawn. After the zombies start to spawn, you're gonna need to watch out for him. You might have to dodge him into water. Zombie boy, he jumps in, but he's not a chance for me. I quickly move over here, I break these blocks out. When I break that one out, I need to make sure the water current's actually fixed. With the water currents fixed up like that, going all the way over to the elevator, and the elevator set up, mobs should be moving over to the elevator, and then going up and dropping down. All that I need to do is get out of their line of sight. Right now, the zombies can see me, they lock onto me, which is gonna mess it up. But look at this. You can kind of see in the corner there, the zombies move up, they move over, they land right there. With an iron sword, no enchantments at all. What are enchantments? I didn't talk about them yet. We walk over here, we swing, and oh, you're gone. You're gone, and you're gone too. Now, one thing to know is armor. Armor can stop fall damage. Depending on the armor, and specifically the enchantments here, they might have like feather falling or something, so we take less damage, but oh, it doesn't matter, I'm too strong. And friends, just like that, our spawner is set up fully beautiful and good to go. It's a zombie farm. The zombies are gonna spawn in there, they're gonna go over to the elevator, go up, and then fall all the way down. Baby zombies included. Baby, children, zombies included. So on that note right there, we gotta add something to this farm. This setup will work basically the same for a skeleton one, but for a zombie one here, I can hear a baby right now actually, you gotta put slabs right there. If you don't put slabs there, the baby will fall, and then it'll be out in this open room. And that will be absolutely terrible, potentially. So let's give it a second. Sooner or later here, small child should fall. Yeah, fall. Small child will fall, and look at that. It's trapped in there. Can't go anywhere. Oh, it's beautiful. Design. You know me. I'm all about the aesthetics. I want to make this thing look really, really beautiful. I also want to know this enchantment. Interesting. Eventually, we will 100% be coming back in here and making this look beautiful. And for now, though, I'd like to talk about a very useful block, tinted glass. So the spawner's whole thing is darkness. Because it's dark in there, the spawner is actually working and spawning mobs. I want a window. I would love to see this thing actually working in action. However, as soon as I dig this open, even if I put normal glass, it's letting light in there. You can see the room is like actually bright. Tinted glass, that's where this stuff comes in. With tinted glass, we get the best of both worlds. We can see through, but it's dark. Tinted glass is one of the coolest blocks to be added in Minecraft 1.17. At least I think that's when it was. By combining amethyst with glass in the crafting table and then swapping out the deep slate for tinted glass, now I get this beautiful window to the room right here. I can see it working, like zombies are dropping in there. But they can't see me and it's nice and dark. To finish up the wonderful farm for today's episode, I think all I want to do is go back up to the surface or somewhere, find a little bit more sand, and replace this entire wall right here with tinted glass, or basically the whole wall. So let's see, we'll go ahead and take these 2 blocks out. That'll look really nice, and we're gonna need 4 more plus 5 at the top. I need 9. Oh, it's the amethyst is the problem. Well, on that note, while we're down here, why don't we just try and find that amethyst shield? I think I'm pretty close. Now, the one thing to know about your newfound fancy zombie farm, while you're close to this thing, the zombies will continuously spawn. However, if I drop a bunch of zombies down here in the queue and then walk away, they're all gonna despawn, unless they're holding an item that I dropped or something like that. Ooh, enchanted chestplate with fire protection 1. All right, fine. Okay, so back over here inside of the caves, I definitely remember the amethyst geode being down here, and I thought I remember it being relatively close too. 100%, it was like on the way out of the cave. I remember that. Let me mark the spawner really quick so I don't like accidentally lose it or something. It's gonna be straight that way. But I think if I remember correctly, I go up the staircase and I go this way for a little bit. Maybe I spin around this way. I know it's up. Up is the way I need to go. Not this up? Maybe it's down this cave? Continuing down this long hallway, and there it is, right in front of my eyes. A little bit of iron, I forgot, and amethyst, wonderful. I need a little bit more of you. You're coming with me. Back over in the safety of my zombie spawner room, let's finish this up for today. We'll go ahead and fill this whole wall up with tinted glass other than the border. I'm gonna do something different. Over here to clean this up, I got a trick. So first up, we're gonna wanna be careful here. This is gonna require breaking the elevator just for a quick second. We'll take that out, we'll place a solid block there. We'll put a trap door right there. We'll take this out, put another trap door right there. Then we'll go ahead and pull this block out. The water should flow back in, and then we can close the trap doors. Just like that, I've streamlined the elevator. It doesn't stick out so ugly anymore. We just got the trap doors. As a salute to all of you who made it all the way to the end of today's episode, one final buff, check this. We're gonna be very careful here because we will break our way back into the spawn. We'll place a little bit of light and light this thing up. Back inside of this room, very carefully here, we're gonna break out blocks and swap them for staircases. By swapping these blocks right here on the ledge of this top edge with staircases, zombies will actually get stuck less. So it'll never really be much of a problem with this farm without the staircases, but with the staircases lining that edge right there, they'll move a little bit quicker. Like they won't linger on this block and try and go against the current. Anyways though, we'll quickly remove those torches, get out of that room, close it back up, into zombie spawner. We're good to go. By using this thing for just a little bit of time, we can now quickly, easily, and very, very safely work our way up to beautiful level 30. Thank you all so much for watching. Patron gang, big shout out Arlo, aka Bobby, MinecraftMojo.com, Ape Marie 23, Steve M, Skelly Wampa, CK, Michael H, and the Great Vegeta, you're the best. Next up, check out last episode. We went to the Nether, it was beautiful. It's been me, Waddles, and I will see you tomorrow with even more levels than ever.